Oh, positions, everybody. Positions.
Positions.
Position.
Find your marks, actors. Find your light.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Torn Tuesday.
Welcome.
Your weekly dose of all things Hobbit and Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. My name's Justin. That's Cliff. We're here every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, live from the West Coast. The West Coast.
Usually promptly at 5 o'clock.
Meltdown Comics is our studio.
Yes, we are. We're here in the heart of everything in Hollywood, right
in the middle. Sunset Boulevard.
Called the Guitar District or the Rock and Roll District. There's a Rock and Roll Ralph's down the road, literally what it's called. And all around us, Sam Ash and Juan Valdez guitars, and who else is across the street? Guitar Center and Bose and everybody that you want to buy good guitars from. They're literally right here. In the epicenter of it all is a comic book store,
and not only that,
a great big
even
comic
closer
book
to
store.
The guitars is where this is the home of Nerdist. On the other side of that wall,
Nerdist,
the Nerdist
right
podcast room, the Nerd Melt Theater. The Nerdist Theater is downstairs.
The Nerd Melt stage is right down there.
It's so funny because over a year ago. Remember when we used to get interrupted because they were starting these shows here or a little early because they were testing new shows?
Yes, they were. I remember.
Remember what that show was called that kept interrupting us for about a month?
At Midnight?
At Midnight.
That's what it was.
Right below us.
Yes, indeed.
And Hardwick would actually come up and say, "Hey guys, we're trying to do our show," and we're like, "We're trying to do our show." And there was a little bit of a geek standoff, and
it was so funny.
I guess Chris Hardwick wins because
Foul-mouthed Gandalf won the day that day.
Midnight just got renewed for a third season.
Yes, indeed. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Especially when you have a short, 32-week season.
Short. That's a
lot of episodes. That's a lot of episodes. Congratulations to Hardwick and the whole team for.
And they're doing a big thing down at Comic-Con, which is this week. Starts tomorrow. Comic-Con actually starts tomorrow. Yes. Nerdist is doing this whole thing at the baseball stadium. They have their own thing. Doing the whole deal.
It's going to be hilarious.
And Chris Hardwick's hosting a bunch of stuff. Kumail Nanjiani, the Meltdown, the show is doing a bunch of. Pete Holmes is doing a bunch of stuff. The Hillywood show is going to be down there. It's pretty amazing to see what's going on. We're also going to be down there this Friday, 4 o'clock. Is our panel at Comic-Con this Friday?
4:30.
4 o'clock.
It's 4 o'clock.
And then you can join us for a absolutely free, no badge required, open to the public ice cream social at Ghirardelli ice cream shop. We're taking the hobbits to Ice Cream Guard.
That's going to be fun.
We debate. The fans came up with this. We put it to Twitter and we said, hey, what should we call our ice cream social? And the fans, you guys did not let down. This is amazing.
It is a surprise when you get fans together to want to do something. They all want to creatively come together. Well, especially Ringer fans.
We just got a hello, Cliff and Justin, on the hotline. You can text us.
Hello, everybody.
530-64-FRODO. Should be scrolling above our heads. You can Skype us.
We have an active scroll.
Text,
there we go. I can see it now.
Text us. You see that?
I never saw it till just now, but there it is. We can see
it's kind of like Magic Leap. There's just words floating in the air.
Yeah, that's funny.
Speaking of Magic Leap, the one of the key investors on Magic Leap, the augmented reality company, we've just confirmed is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Sir Richard Taylor will be at Comic-Con. He's also bringing some friends, including Swordsmith Peter Lyons.
Peter Lyons, yes, the super amazing cool swordsmith,
star of Reclaiming the Blade,
who created all these swords in Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films, the Shards of Narsil and the reforged Anduril. Fantastic. Really fantastic.
So he's going to be at the Weta booth. Peter Lyons
designed Sting.
He's going to be signing swords. So bring your swords. This is the guy. This is the guy you want signing your collectible swords. The ones that are hung up on the wall.
Gandalf's sword, Glamdring.
Gandalf, Thorin's Oaken, Orcrist.
Yes.
Sting. Just every sword, every blade, even the knives of Tauriel. You know what? If you have a friend going to Comic-Con and you're not going, send your sword with them and get it signed. This is a rare opportunity. Peter doesn't usually come out.
He doesn't. He does not.
And he rarely does signings. So this is a really, really special opportunity. Get your sword signed by this guy. It will be valuable.
Peter Lyon, Sword Forum
not
International.
just valuable, personally rewarding and fulfilling.
Yeah, it is. There's Weta Cave swords at Sword. All these people talking about the Weta Cave. They're here on this website. They're absolutely huge fans, and we should all be fans. You got to go check out the Weta Cave, which is their beautiful little place
in New Zealand.
In New Zealand, when you're down there in Wellington, it's their gift shop, but it's also like a cool place to tour. And one-of-a-kind swords by Peter Lyon, okay? He joined Weta in the early days of Lord of the Rings. He created Anduril, Narsil, Sting, the most recognizable swords. I wonder if he had a really involved... was he really involved in the design of Orcrist as well?
I believe so.
I believe he was. I'm going to look that up right now. Looking on my web, my little web browser right here.
Aren't we fancy?
Peter Lyon.
So, he's going to be at Comic-Con. There's also some exciting things that we're going to talk about. Boy, oh boy. We have some amazing details to talk to you about.
Yes, indeed, we do.
At Comic-Con.
Lots of deets.
It's amazing what we are hearing. Now, if you've been watching or listening to the show on iTunes or YouTube the last few weeks, you've noticed that we've been going over what rights are available and what aren't, and what can be filmed within the existing rights without
which as we know, and only include The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Those
and
the
the
only
appendices.
Exist. That's the big hitch, is that those appendices are part of The Lord of the Rings. And they're fully licensed by Warner Brothers. Or through the power of Tolkien Enterprises. That was Saul Zant's company, yes.
And not only that, we've also in recent weeks been talking about these Tolkien biopics that are being made, and
yes.
What is the potential for the special editions and what we know of the film. So there's a lot to talk about, not just conjecture and not just we think it would be nice to have. We've got actually concrete stuff.
Yes, we do.
Of
real surprises.
What was filmed.
Big reveals.
What's been put on hard drive.
Wait till you hear what I just found out today, guys. But I can't tell you until you come to Comic-Con and be there at our presentation. Well, do you know what room it is? Room 6B, D, E?
It's, it's a 24 or 42 or something like that.
24 or 42? Okay, well, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to
just look up The Hobbit, because we're the only Hobbit on the schedule.
Yes, that's right.
Warner Brothers has not announced that they're doing anything Hobbit at their Hall H panel. Warner Brothers' big presentation is Saturday morning.
Yes.
And it's expected that they will be exclusively talking about the DC Universe.
Oh boy.
That'll DC Universe.
They're going to really launch that hard because they have to. Warner Brothers is in a pinch where Marvel Studios has gone way fast out of the gate.
They've got Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Dark Justice League, which Guillermo del Toro just walked away from, and Suicide Squad, which some people are joking around calling Erebor Squad, because the marketing of Suicide Squad feels very reminiscent of the first Hobbit movie.
It does.
It's all the characters on a gray background. Kind of edgy and stuff like that.
It's fascinating to me. Warner Brothers is the last horse out of the gate. And there's a lot of racing to do. And some of the other horses have already gone around the track twice. You know what I'm saying? So Warner Brothers has to get DC Universe. Specifically, we want to call it the DC Cinematic Universe. But when we talk on our panel at Comic-Con, we're also going to talk about the Middle-earth Cinematic Universe, because that's a thing. That's a thing now, okay?
MeCU.
That is a thing. MeCU.
MeCU, the Middle-earth Cinematic Universe.
M, lowercase e, capital C-U.
It's potentially not just 6 films. And it's potentially more than just a special edition, extended editions with more scenes that no one's ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Wait, how can you turn one Pirates of the Caribbean theme park ride into 5 movies? Well, guess what? They got the 5th one almost wrapped. Johnny Depp has been getting in a lot of trouble.
Starring Adam Brown.
And Adam Brown! These franchises are huge. These movies and these movie studios are restructuring their business deals and most of their business strategies to focus on the efficacy of these large tentpole film franchise programs. This is what it's all about, guys. Star Wars.
They're not showing.
You know,
any
there's going to be
new
another
footage.
Maze Runner, for heaven's sake. There's going to be more.
I saw posters for the new Maze Runner.
There's going to be more of.
seen the first one.
I know who saw the first one. But I mean, they're like, it's not like.
I bet you there's going to be lots of Hunger Games down there.
Hunger Games is going to be continuing.
You know what I just saw on Twitter today?
Its major presence in the blogosphere.
Full-size Iron Giant, life size. We're talking
Really?
30 feet tall.
An Iron Giant.
An Iron Giant.
Are they going to do a live-action version of the Iron Giant?
No, they're re-releasing a 20th anniversary edition on Blu-ray.
Oh,
and
nice.
They built, down in San Diego right now, is standing a 30-foot robot.
Oh, that's so cool. That sounds great. Iron Giant.
I just saw a picture of it today.
I've got to see that. I can't wait to get down there.
So the question is, what will we hear from Weta, because they're doing so many movies now. They're involved in Godzilla,
Avatar 2 with James Cameron.
Avatar 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, holy cow. Did I forget to mention Avatar 2, 3, and 4 as another one of those franchise programs? You guys listen up.
They're doing
It's happening. This is happening.
A lot of great stuff. Planet of the Apes.
Continuing the Planet of the Apes franchise, which is excellent.
And Thunderbirds.
Oh, Thunderbirds are go.
That's going to be huge. I bet you they have a whole screening of the first episode. I wouldn't be surprised.
But if Warner Brothers puts all of its focus in the Hall H presentation on just DC Cinematic Universe, does that mean they're not delivering anything on J.K. Rowling's new 3-film series, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, starring Oscar winner from The Theory of Everything? Yes, he played, Stephen Hawking. Starring Eddie Redmayne as the lead actor,
who auditioned for Bilbo
in Fantastical Beasts and Where to
said
Find
he
Them.
completely failed at being Bilbo.
He was a pretty decent villain in Jupiter Ascending.
I like Jupiter. I like those guys. Have you watched the Wachowskis' Sense8 on Netflix?
No, I want to see that
New series.
I heard great things about Sense8.
What year is it? Tolkien girl in the chat room says, "What year am I in?" Well, that's true, because we got Jurassic World is the #1 thing. It's
what
funny.
year am I in? Makes me wonder sometimes.
The Variety. The Daily Hollywood magazine Variety.
Daily Variety.
Just pulled out an old headline from 1993 that says, "Dinosaurs Stomp on Schwarzenegger." And in 1993...
Unexpected.
Jurassic Park beat Schwarzenegger's Last Action Hero at the box office. And guess what?
They did?
This last weekend, Dinosaurs beat Terminator Genesis at the box office.
Wow.
So dinosaurs are still beating the Terminator at the box office 20 years later. They just used the same headline. It's quite amazing.
Oh my gosh, Inside Out squeaked out beyond Jurassic World
by a little
barely,
bit.
By a feather, by a whisper of box office returns. Barely did Inside Out win the July 4th weekend. How about that?
So who else will be at Comic-Con? Weta will be there. Richard Taylor will be there. Richard Armitage is supposed to show up and support some Hannibal and some other wonderful projects.
Wasn't Hannibal pulled from NBC?
It's still on the air, and I believe he starts in episode 7 or 8.
Yeah? But it wasn't renewed. It's still on the air, but it wasn't renewed for another season.
It's still on the air, but
it's finishing their season.
And Netflix and Amazon have both passed on it. That's an expensive show to make, and the viewers, there aren't a lot of viewers that want to watch a violent Stanley Kubrick-esque horror. This is definitely a violent, very, very violent. But I tell you what, Richard Armitage, I can't wait to see him in that show, because everyone in that show, including Gillian Anderson,
yes,
who is a major star in Hannibal this season.
Gillian Anderson rocks my world. She's so cool.
So she's going to be at Comic-Con
promoting X-Files.
X-Files and Hannibal.
And she did a fantastic voice of the wolf god Moro back in a Miyazaki film called Princess Mononoke. Yes, that was Gillian Anderson, believe it or not. I love Gillian Anderson. She's awesome.
So, you know who else is on TV? Lee Pace is killing it on *Halt and Catch Fire*.
*Halt and Catch Fire*.
That's my favorite show on TV.
Cool ass show, isn't it? Isn't that cool? I love that show.
So we might see some Lee Pace.
It takes me back to super nostalgia days of early '80s computerisms.
So who else will we see down at Comic-Con? We just got confirmation on Twitter that our old friend Dominic Monaghan will not be attending.
He's not going to be there.
He's busy on Wild Things. He won't be there.
You know what? Billy Boyd is here in Los Angeles this week, and he will be here in Los Angeles next week, where he's going to join us on our show next week live. But you know what that means? That bodes well for him making a run down there this weekend and making an appearance at Comic-Con.
So will we see Billy Boyd there?
Surprise the fans and show up?
He'll be right here talking with you guys next week. We should start promoting that.
We better. I'll start promoting it right now.
Yeah.
We love B Cake. His wonderful band has a new album out.
Yes. Go check it out.
Billy Boyd is going to join us next week.
Of it next week on the show.
We better listen to it before next week.
Well, who else? Richard Armitage. Adam Brown, I think, is still in New Zealand and Australia shooting the Pirates movie, so I don't think Adam Brown's going to be at Comic-Con.
I've heard that there's been trouble on the set of the Pirates film. That Johnny Depp has been causing trouble. And his dog. And his dog has been causing trouble.
This Johnny Depp, you know.
Well, he's Johnny Depp. Yeah, he's allowed to cause any trouble he wants.
We don't think that that old Gandalf will be there.
Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen's very happy to promote the new show, Mr. Holmes, which is super good.
He's staying east. He's staying east.
He's keeping himself focused in London on most of his projects right now.
It would be quite a surprise to see him. But we are... I heard a rumor yesterday.
Yeah.
Whispers on the wind. This is complete conjecture. It's probably not true at all.
I love these whispers. I love these.
Peter might be on a flight tomorrow. Peter Jackson might be on a flight tomorrow to San Diego to do his thing en route to London, where he will do some ADR, just like he did last year and the year before that.
Yes.
Doing some dialogue re-recording with Ian McKellen and some other cast in London right now
for Hobbit Extended Edition of the Battle of the Five Armies
and whatever else.
Yeah.
So it would be.
And other things.
Wouldn't it be fun to see Peter Jackson surprise everybody at a panel?
Beware if you see any black and white Harlequin demons.
I know, he walked around all day.
He fooled everyone with this stupid demon Harlequin outfit.
Last year at San Diego Comic-Con, Peter Jackson walked around freewheely, but he was in a clown costume. And
you make it sound like he was going commando.
No, he was under that costume. Who knows? But nobody knew. People were just like, "Nice costume, dude." And he walked around the whole day. And then at the end of the day,
no one knew he was.
Facebooked a picture and said, "Ha, fool you guys." Nobody knew that he was actually walking around. Yeah.
It was very funny. But haven't we heard rumors of lots of big A-list stars who cannot even get around Comic-Con unless they do that? They get into a Stormtrooper outfit or some other completely disguised full facial mask thing where you don't even know it's them.
Well, Elijah Wood will be there all week long, and he is known to totally dress up as a Stormtrooper.
Yes.
A little short to be a Stormtrooper, huh? Yeah, so he's got I believe he has a Stormtrooper outfit. And so Elijah Wood will be DJing Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night. He's got a DJ thing that is open to the public. You can get tickets to that club to go see Wood and Wisdom tomorrow night. Thursday night is Elijah is screening his new horror comedy film. That's
fun. That's gonna be fun.
He's starring and produced a film that's premiering on Thursday. And then who knows what else he'll be in.
Graham McTavish was just at the Montreal Comic-Con this past weekend. Tolkien Girl, awesome. Good keeping an eye out on our boy, Graham McTavish. He's doing a great turn in that Highlander show. Not Highlander, Outlander. Yeah, well, if it involves kilts, I
wonder if he'll be here.
Highlander.
You know, there's a good chance he might come.
Yes, there's a good chance.
Because there's a big fan base for that show.
Outlander's good. And they had a really cool thing promoting Outlander last year when we were there.
You know what I heard?
They had a really cool thing.
The biggest panel, the biggest panel of all week is going to be the Star Wars panel this Friday afternoon, which happens to happen at the same exact time as our panel.
Yes.
So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm missing Star Wars because our panel got booked at the same time.
It's nuts.
But you know what I heard yesterday?
Friday. I'm looking at the Friday schedule right now.
That there is a secret password to get into the Star Wars panel for special people. There's a secret password that you have to know, provided from Lucasfilm itself, that says if someone goes to the door and says this password, they're allowed in. So so I really need to.
Are you hearing this rumor from where?
From people that go to Comic-Con a lot and are well sourced.
Okay, let's go. Is it in Hall H?
You know who else?
Is it in Hall H, this presentation?
Hall H is at the same time as
Well, I can't leave my own panel to go down there and use the password.
I know, but our panel starts at 4. Theirs starts at 4:30.
And say Melon.
So we might get the last half hour of that thing if we run.
Okay,
and
yeah, we could run down there. All right, I'd be down.
Big news from our friends. They just announced yesterday. Big news from our friends, Badali Jewelry. Of course, they have the exclusive license to make the One Ring from the Tolkien estate, not from Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it's a separate license. This is an original, handcrafted, forged One Ring.
The Badali Jewelry folks actually work with the Tolkien estate itself. The Tolkien family to design Evan Stars and One Rings and Arkenstones that are not based on the movie.
Yes.
They just announced that they've made a deal with Sideshow Collectibles, so they're debuting
a
lot of Sideshow Collectible based jewelry at
cool.
Comic-Con. So that's so great to see this little mom and pop shop
I'm excited.
grow up to Sideshow Collectibles is a pretty big company.
That's huge.
That's
huge. That's really good news. Very good. Oh, look at this. This program listing. Wow, this is amazing what's happening on Friday. Edgar Rice Burroughs' Worlds of Adventures. My Little Pony has a special panel. I can't tell exactly what time of day it is. Ooh, look at this. Writing for TV. From first draft to getting staffed. That's how you get a job. Go to those panels and you can learn details from television writers and Cartoon Network, Adventure Time, and Steven Universe, which is a pretty cool show. I like Steven Universe. Whoa!
You know who has a bunch of who's on a bunch of panels this week is our old friend Noelle Stevenson, Ginger Hayes.
I can't wait to see her again.
You remember from Broship of the Ring?
Yes.
And Party Thranduil. Well, she just sold 2 of her books. They're going to be turned into TV shows and feature films. She just announced a new comic series, graphic novel series called Wizards. And it's 4 female wizards. I can't wait to see this. It's almost like as soon as I saw the artwork for her new thing, Wizards, I thought, you know what? Who's to say that the blue wizards weren't female?
Yeah, they might have been. We don't know.
This could be the story of the blue wizards.
The 2 wizards who disappeared off the maps of Middle Earth and never came into the stories.
So she's doing amazing. She's going to be signing at the Boom Studios booth.
At 12 noon, Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge is having a special presentation at 12 noon on Friday. I love me some Jim Henson Creature Shop.
And they're hiring right now. If you go to Jim Henson's Creature Shop website, they're hiring. They've got a lot of TV shows in the works, like
yes, they
the
do.
Muppet Show.
Guess what? Guess what else is happening? It's time to light the music. It's time to dress up right. I know the song. Cheryl Henson, the daughter of Jim, Cheryl Henson has launched, and I know this might have happened a little while ago, but she's launched something really, really amazing. It's an official Dark Crystal community website. For all the fans of the Dark Crystal, it is called darkcrystal.com. It is a complete website from Cheryl Henson, where they have an encyclopedia, they have the making of, they have an amazing timeline with graphics that includes, and there's like an art contest for Skeksis, they have t-shirts, they had art contests, and they even have a history, like a chronology history of everything that happens. Look at this. Everything that happens in the world of the Dark Crystal, going back 2,000 years ago when the first Great Conjunction happened.
That looks kind of boring.
Oh gosh, it's so cool. I love the Dark Crystal, and if you're a fan, like me, you've got to check out darkcrystal.com, sign up, and if you really have the desire for more Dark Crystal stories, Archaea Publishing has these unbelievably great graphic novels called The Dark Crystal Creation Myths. And they're created by Brian Froud, the original conceptual designer who created all the Skeksis and the Mystics and the Gelflings and all these amazing plants and creatures and designs in this world. And you've got to check out Archaea Comics and their Creation Myths. That's what it's called. The Dark Crystal Creation Myths. It's absolutely stunning. Such good stuff. And I'm really glad to see that Cheryl Henson has so aggressively put a big community together for Dark Crystal fans, because, you know, for many years they were on again, off again with a live-action sequel that was going to have a combination of puppets and creatures and CGI. It was going to be called The Power of the Dark Crystal. This was a movie that was on again, off again. Famous animation director Genndy Tartakovsky, who's the creator of the Powerpuff Girls and Samurai...
Which is getting a reboot.
And Samurai Jack. Yeah, everybody loves Samurai Jack and Powerpuff Girls. You know Genndy Tartakovsky from Dexter's Laboratory. The greatest shows from the late 90s that Cartoon Network had on. Brilliant. He would have been a great director for The Power of the Dark Crystal, but he stepped away, and the project continues to flounder in development hell, as they call it here. But there's a whole fascinating mythology in that world. You know, there was not just one great conjunction. There was 2,000 years ago a great conjunction when the Urskeks arrived, and they arrived on the planet, and just like an Ancient Aliens episode, they started to influence the development civilizations of the Gelfling and taught them crafts and art and architecture and irrigation and taught them techniques to thrive on their planet. And then, after 1,000 years of bliss and development of all the species on the planet, then all of a sudden, something went very badly wrong, and at the next great conjunction, the crystal cracked, and they were split into the Skeksis and the Uru. That happened, and then they stayed in control, the Skeksis. They took over the castle. The castle of the Bright Crystal was no longer the Bright Crystal. It turned dark. I'm telling you, all this mythology is brilliant, because for the first 1,000 years that the Urskeks were there, the stories that happen in the world of the Bright Crystal are fascinating. And did you know Aughra had a son? Yeah, and his name is Ronep. Great character. Who knew that the Earth Mother creature, Aughra, had a son? I'm going on and on and on about this mythology, but that's what Tolkien fans do. We like good world building, and you have to check out darkcrystal.com and those Archaea books. That's from Archaea Publishing. The Dark Crystal Creation Myths. You'd love it. And then watch what happens when the crystal cracks and becomes lost from, one shard of it is lost. And then the Skeksis take over the castle. You've got to read it for yourself. This is all the story that happens before the actual film The Dark Crystal from 1982. But I would be down. With Disney finally helping the Jim Henson Company get all their characters back into our lives again. New Muppet movies, which were so fun and wonderful, with Jason Segel and what's her name? Amy Adams. All these fun movies, I'm telling you, new Muppet TV series, lots of hiring, like Justin said. If you're a puppet craftsman or a puppeteer or a manufacturer, fabricator of puppets, put your resumes into Jim Henson Company because they are hiring. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if, within the next year or two, we get an announcement that an official Dark Crystal movie sequel or prequel might actually come into being. I just can't wait for that. I'm so excited. Just as excited as I would be that Warner Brothers would make another huge announcement about movies in the Middle-earth cinematic universe coming out.
Well, it's not just that, because Peter Jackson...
I'm excited about that as anybody.
Peter Jackson's already committed, and he contracted and obligated to do a sequel to Tintin. He's supposed to do a Tintin movie, and if you go to our...
Spielberg. No, you don't break off from a deal with Steven Spielberg.
And if you go to our Twitter and Facebook, you'll notice that DC Comics once published a crossover called Batman and Tintin.
The Brave and the Bold.
The Brave and the Bold.
Though that comic book series back then had a lot of crossovers.
The Brave and the Bold. If
it was great.
Peter Jackson is going to do a Tintin, and DC Comics has a connection between Batman universe and the Tintin universe.
Yes.
Could this be an entry into Peter
DC
Jackson?
Universe? Holy cow! Wouldn't that be so badass for Peter Jackson to come on board a Justice League film? That would be badass.
Well,
I think that'd be brilliant.
A rumor has it that he was offered Justice League before they gave it to Zack Snyder.
You're kidding? What?
Yeah.
No, that's completely unsubstantiated, that rumor. Well, what do you think of it?
Those are the rumors that are coming out this week.
Those are the rumors?
Those are the rumors that Peter Jackson passed. It was a quick pass, but it was offered.
Well, he's got obligations. He's doing the sequel to Tintin.
Would he stay? You think Peter Jackson will stay in the Warner Brothers studio system? Because as everybody knows, when Lord of the Rings was done and New Line Cinema was absorbed into Warner Brothers, Peter Jackson could go anywhere and do any movie, and he jumped over to Universal Studios.
He did.
And Peter Jackson did.
He did.
King Kong for Universal. And then he came back and started working with thing. Oh, that reminds me, speaking of King Kong, we just got word that Skull Island is a complete reboot of the King Kong universe. The new movie,
kidding.
Skull Island.
But we spent 2.5 hours on Skull Island in Peter Jackson's movie, and we didn't even leave that island to go back to New York.
Skull Island will be a complete reboot. It will have nothing to do with Peter Jackson's universe.
Really?
Which is weird, because if
A
you
complete reboot?
a complete reboot with no connection to Peter Jackson's Kong universe.
But, I mean, come on, you can't get any better than all the creatures and slugs and dinosaurs and amazing things that they had on Skull Island.
It's changing now, because they had originally cast Michael Keaton in Kong Island, Skull Island, and he basically, they pushed it back.
Skull Island.
They're having script issues, so Michael Keaton has walked away from Skull Island. So we don't know if there's going to be anything on Skull Island here at Comic-Con, and we don't know if Weta is involved, and we definitely don't know. And what we're hearing is that it's not in the Peter Jackson universe, but that was then.
That's new.
That was then.
That's news to me.
That's
interesting.
But that was the
Very
original plan with this Skull Island reboot with Michael Keaton. Now that they're having script issues, maybe Universal would be wise in considering to keep it in Peter Jackson's universe, because they spent all that money on that wonderful attraction at Universal Studios.
The 3D or 4D ride experience going through that, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
There's a
it's
3D,
a big attraction.
Peter Jackson's King Kong 3D
ride through
at Universal Studios Hollywood,
where you get attacked or maybe saved by King Kong as you get attacked by dinosaurs.
It's quite amazing.
It is so cool.
And to think that they went through, they made that movie with Peter Jackson and Weta, and then they did that whole ride. Now they're going to reboot Skull Island. That's not based in the same universe that Peter Jackson started to create. I don't buy it. I think Universal should rethink what they're doing and stay in that universe, because Andy Serkis was wonderful.
I agree with that.
As two different characters in that. Andy Serkis was not only the ape itself, he was the boat master, right?
He was the captain.
He was the captain.
Yeah, he was the captain.
He's really carved out a niche between Andy Serkis is either a boat captain or an ape.
No, he was the boat captain in the Tintin movie. In the King Kong movie, he was Cookie.
Oh yeah, the cook.
He was Cookie. Yes, he was the cook. That's right. Now, Erovandi, I see you are here in the chat room. Hello, Sarah Thrawn 77. Hello, Tolkien Girl, and hello to everybody, our wonderful viewers live joining us on this live stream show. You can find us on Skype.
What's RWBY?
What's RWBY? Oh, that's an anime, a Japanese anime, red, white, blue, or I should say red, white, black, yellow. And I tell you, I've heard great things about RWBY. It looks like a fascinating anime series, and I'm totally down to check it out. I'm still really, really fascinated with what's going on with Attack on Titan.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I want to see that.
That live-action version of Attack on Titan has got my brain buzzing, but I will definitely check out.
We are 2 weeks away from the Hollywood premiere at the Egyptian.
Of that
movie.
Oh, I'm excited as can be about that.
Attack on Titan.
I've heard good things about RWBY. I will check it out. Now, let's go back. Erovandi, my dear, you said you've never heard of the Dark Crystal. Well, briefly, I'll tell you something. After the success of 2 or 3 Muppet movies and decades of very popular The Muppet Show in the 70s, it was 1982, and Frank Oz had been doing the Yoda puppet in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, and also Star Wars Return of the Jedi. At that time, Frank Oz and Jim Henson were trying to create a different type of Muppet movie that had no human beings in it, nothing but bizarre, strange creatures, very dark.
Never let artists go unchecked.
Very nightmarish creatures. It is nothing at all like any Muppets you've seen before.
The best work comes out when there's someone checking the artist.
I don't agree with the slant that Mr. Justin Sewell is proposing
Lord of the Rings is better than The Hobbit.
The Dark Crystal is better than all of them. The Dark Crystal is one of the best films you'll ever see.
Agree.
It's a brilliant piece of art direction because it was more ambitious than anything anybody would dare do. A movie from Jim Henson with no human beings in it. All the plants, animals, birds, creatures, insects, everything original, crafted from scratch, designed by puppet manufacturers at Jim Henson Studio, and filmed famous,
You know what,
famous Pinewood Studios in England.
You know what?
Check out the Dark Crystal. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix right now.
Studio. The pinnacle
brilliant
of
movie.
his work, of his studio's work, can be seen in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That is the pinnacle of the Jim Henson Studio.
The pinnacle of the Jim Henson Studios?
The first Ninja Turtles movie.
The first Ninja Turtle? Oh, that was some brilliant animatronics, but
that was the pinnacle of it.
I'm actually fond of the first Muppet movie, because that's brilliant. The very first Muppet movie. And I like the Great Muppet Caper. That's a lot of fun. But nothing beats the combination of Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal back to back. Labyrinth is fun just because David Bowie is in a fright wig and does all those goofy songs with the baby and the Muppet goblins. It's very fun. But Dark Crystal is deadly serious. It's fascinating. You'll love it. Now, onward and forward.
Can I tell you guys something right now?
He's going to talk right now. And our Skype is turned on if you want to join us live.
You can Skype us. Just check the numbers at the top, and you can text us anytime. Even if we're not on the show, the text comes to both our phones.
Yes, it does.
You can text us anytime, day or night, and we usually answer.
Yeah. Yes, we use somebody will try to answer. Yes.
Can I tell you something? We have it on good authority. Is pretty much confirmed, and whether or not it's going to be in the extended edition or not, but Peter Jackson filmed a death scene with Alfred.
I didn't want to spoil that today. I wanted to talk about that at Comic-Con. Dude, that is news that we just learned today.
It's filmed. It's in the can.
A death scene for Alfred.
Be in this dang extended edition.
A character that everyone loves to hate, that everyone complained about. He became the Jar Jar Binks of the Hobbit films. Alfred had a death scene filmed, allegedly. Allegedly, there was a death scene filmed. Do you believe that? You know what else was allegedly filmed? Allegedly, we get to see Billy Connolly have a coronation after Thorin's funeral.
I don't think
because somebody should be properly crowned the king under the mountain. His cousin.
That's a tough one because
he's the only family left.
As we know, they replaced all of Billy Connolly scenes with a CG puppet, so you don't actually see Billy Connolly. You see a CG Dane in the whole. We've never ever seen Billy Connolly the man in a Middle Earth film. You just haven't. He hasn't been seen. Every shot that you've seen has been a digital replacement. So I'm nervous about any sort of slow-moving coronation scene with long shots that give your eye enough time to say, you know what, that's fake. Because if you watch Terminator Genesis, and when Arnold is fighting young Arnold, as good as it looks, you can still tell he's not really fighting. The young Arnold is not.
Really there.
You can tell, and I'm
like
nervous.
Azog, like when Thorin's fighting Azog.
And
it looks pretty realistic to me.
They're face to face, and there's a little bit of lens focus issues on Thorin, but Azog is 100% in focus, and you can see every pore.
I wonder about that. Should I go and see Terminator Genesis? Was it any good? Can you recommend it?
If you're a big fanboy. Go see it, but if you're not a Terminator fanboy, it's fan service. That's what that movie is.
Yeah, it's fan service.
It's nothing more than fan service. Yeah, that's it.
Well, it didn't work at the box office. It really didn't make the money that they thought it was going to make. Makes you wonder.
Aerovandi in the chat room says there's a catapult involved in Alfred's death. You are correct.
A catapult involved? That sounds good.
Very good.
I heard a rumor that somebody might get a piece of an axe taken out of his forehead. A certain dwarf character that we know, named Biffer, played by the wonderful William Kircher. I heard a rumor that this extended edition of the Battle of the Five Armies might include additional stuff with all of our leading dwarves, so that these characters can have a resolution to their story arcs that they would have had in the films if it wasn't cut so short. You know, Peter delivered a short film. It was the shortest of all Middle-earth films.
Inappropriately short.
Battle of the Five Armies was inappropriately short. It wasn't even as long as The Goblet of Fire. Harry Potter and The Goblet of Fire was several minutes longer than Battle of the Five Armies, believe it or not, in running time.
Luke Evans, who we may see at Comic-Con this week.
Figure that out.
Said that there's at least twice as much dialogue between him and Smaug. that was cut from this movie.
Yeah, Luke Evans has a lot of extra scenes with Smaug, he said.
He
said.
There's more dialogue to have with Smaug, which would be wonderful. That's what I signed up for. I wanted to see this ta-ta-ta.
Tête-à-tête.
Yeah, what he said.
En français, tête-à-tête.
You know, it's interesting to say that what's his name, Biffer, gets the axe pulled out of his head and he has lines. See, this is where...
Is that just a crazy rumor?
No, it's not a rumor because he said as much over the last 2 years. That was part of principal photography. Here's the problem. Here's where cuts like this hurt the actors.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to future licensing, when it's on TV, whether it's showing on ITV or TNT or USA or HBO, video on demand, Netflix, royalty rates. This is why Hollywood contracts are so complicated. That you get paid on how much you actually speak in the movie. You don't get you get paid.
Really?
You get paid for your time.
You get
filming,
a day rate. You
right?
get a day rate.
You get your day rate
Yes,
when
you
you're
do.
filming. But ongoing royalties, you get paid based on how many lines you have.
Yeah.
And famously, what awards you're nominated for. So if
I don't
you
think
filmed your death scene in Return of the King and you were cut from the theatrical, you don't get to be on the award.
I don't think Adam Brown has a single line of dialogue.
Well, the problem is that Biffer has a
hotline's blowing up.
huge exposition when he gets to speak again, and this is an important part of this character.
Yeah,
and it's valuable. It's not only part of the character that us fans would love to see, but it's important to the actor because his future royalties have been diminished. He has no speaking scenes in the third Hobbit movie, which means he will not get royalties that he would have having that 1 or 2 lines.
Yeah.
And this is how people, when they get into their retirement age,
he has to go he's got to go get a job hanging drywall somewhere instead of actually getting checks from being an actor like he's supposed to.
Well, it's just an important thing that.
Well, hypothetically, I'm saying
Christopher Lee got bunked out of awards for getting cut out of Return of the King.
The late Christopher Lee.
And now actors like Adam Brown and William Kircher get bunked out of future royalties because they have no speaking lines in the third movie. And you can call it creative decisions on the director, and that's fair, but you also got to think like balance that fan service and everything like that. It would have been appropriate to
of the 13 dwarves, we can count on one hand who had lines of dialogue. Thorin, Keely, Feely. They had lines of dialogue.
Tolkien girl, call again.
Balin, Dwalin. They had lines of dialogue. I don't think any of the other 13 dwarves had any dialogue at all.
Hi, who's calling?
Hi, this is Tolkien girl.
Hello, Tolkien girl. How are you?
I might be mistaken. Hello, Tolkien
good.
girl.
How are you?
What's on your mind? What makes you call the show today?
I just kind of wanted to say hi because I've been away for a couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to watch the show because, like, school and exams and all that good stuff that comes with being a teenager.
Well, you've been noticeably absent, and we have missed you.
I really love what you guys are talking about today, though. I really want to go to San Diego Comic-Con at some point. I'm way too far away for that to be a reality right now, though.
Well, you know what I say, when it comes to Americana, you should see Mount Rushmore, you should see the Grand Canyon, and you should go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes. In that order.
My other one that's on that list is going to RTX in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should talk about at our panel? Because we have all these juicy stuff that you've missed over the last couple of weeks about movies about J.R.R. Tolkien's life, future movies beyond the 6 that have already been produced in the Middle Earth universe, special edition, extended editions, and just knowing what was filmed for the extended edition of Battle of the Five Armies. What do you think we should focus on?
Did you guys... I know this is pretty late news. Like, I just learned about it a couple days ago, but did you guys hear that Peter Jackson built Bag End in his basement?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Many years ago.
We
Yeah.
just saw that news that he's renovating his mansion.
Oh, ridiculous! Oh my god, I can't believe it.
You're not. I guess the question is, how are you allowed to call it a man cave if it's a hobbit hole?
A hobbit cave? I don't know.
It's quite. It's
I love it, but it's kind of strange. I mean, it's just like, can you let it go already?
that's one of the reasons we have a strong inclination that he's not done in Middle Earth.
I would say that maybe he is done in Middle Earth. He's just not necessarily ready to let it go yet.
Yep.
I mean, doing something like that, it's kind of weird.
But it's proof that he's so enamored with it. He's all in on Middle Earth, and
Yeah.
if he still wants to play in this universe, like I'd say let him. If he's got ideas for more movies, I'd say go do it.
I had heard maybe 13 or 14 years ago that he had saved the interior set of the Bag End set, not the small size one, but the full size one that that a regular person can walk in, and feel like they belong with the Hobbit-sized furniture. And I didn't know that he was renovating his basement. Now I guess he's just found a place to put the damn thing. I guess.
Yeah, true.
It's very exciting to think about other films in the Middle-earth cinematic universe, although not everyone feels the same way. But look, we got to...
I don't. I think it's ready to be done. I think you've done the Six, you've done Lord of the Rings, you've done The Hobbit, The Silmarillion.
What about other directors?
Stay unfilmable.
Well, we have so much fun. Look, these movies, we all went and saw these movies, and whether they were true to Tolkien or not, that's a different discussion. We all had fun going to see these movies. We're going to get the extended edition. Why wouldn't we want to continue going into this world?
What if, one other fan, just like you are, my dear, there's another fan on our Twitter who responded last week and said, I can't even describe how this whole idea pisses me off, and I loved the Hobbit films. I'm furious. A lot of fans are very furious, thinking that what's in the appendix, or the appendices, might become all sorts of new films.
Yeah, it doesn't anger me. It's kind of, it seems like they're trying to draw it out, and it's not going to be what's there anymore. I feel like if they did make it, it would just be for an easy cash grab because they have that fan base.
Do you think... Now, I would naturally say that slight tone of cynicism there, slightly, but do you think this... Just slightly, dear. But hey, that's okay, you're entitled. Totally, you're entitled. And you might be right, and you might totally be right, but that's okay too. But do you think the same thing applies to Joanne Rowling doing more Harry Potter films that are completely outside of the canon of her existing
There's an American
books?
Hogwarts.
There's Fantastical Beasts and Where to Find Them is an actual book that she wrote and she published, but it's not part of the 7 Harry Potter books. Do you think it's also just a cash grab to continue that world?
Totally fine, because it's J.K. Rowling's other works. It doesn't exist in the Harry Potter universe. It's like if Peter Jackson did something like Tintin outside the Middle Earth movies, it's like you're not going to penalize somebody for that.
No. Well, no. I'm just saying if she can make her own side movies with other things in her world, and the appendices in Return of the King have hundreds and thousands of years of people's amazing histories and battles and kingdoms that are established and destroyed, and the Witch King of Angmar, which Gandalf talks a lot about in Battle of the Five Armies. With all that stuff about Angmar and all this stuff going on in our existing Hobbit films and Lord of the Rings films, if they want to, Peter could executive produce, and he could hire other directors to come on board and make some whole new thing, like he tried to do the first damn place with Del Toro coming on to make a new version.
You're telling me if there was more Hobbit movies, you wouldn't want to go see them?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. So if there's more Middle-earth movies with
But you're all in
anybody,
on more Harry Potter movies.
and you weren't going to go. Okay.
I never really liked Harry Potter to begin with. It just never clicked for me.
Okay.
My sister loves it though. So it depends. I mean, like, sure, I might go see it, but I don't think I would enjoy it quite as much, you know, because it's like, what are these movies? Why are these movies being made? It's like, it's one, for the fans, which is wonderful, but two, it's to make money. And you can argue that that's with every movie, but it just seems like they've got this hype going and they're just feeding off that.
It's a bit, that's the, oh gosh, they're in the high stakes business making movies.
What's wrong with making money? Tolkien wrote these books because he wanted to make money.
He did. He sold so many Hobbit books. His publishers came to him and said, "You have got to give us more. We want a sequel." And that's what Professor Tolkien did 15 years later. He got the damn thing done.
And then he sold the movie rights because he loved money.
It ended up being really good for Hobbit fans that The Lord of the Rings got written. Now, I think my philosophy is, I can appreciate that money, capitalism might be one of the driving forces here, but when you make $1 billion on each stupid Hobbit movie, Warner Brothers ain't going to let that go. They're going to sink their teeth into that little thing a little harder, and they're going to shake that moneymaker, you know, like a dog who's got his chew toy. They're just going to hold it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah.
But,
well, it's great to hear from you, Tolkien girl. Thank you for calling so much.
One more thing. Cliff.
Yes, dear.
You have got to watch Sense8. It is amazing.
Oh yeah, everybody.
You have got to.
Everybody's told me that the Wachowskis' new show is worthy of attention. What were you saying? Sorry.
Sense8.
Yeah.
You should also check out a show called Ruby. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Ruby?
Yeah, RWBY, Ruby. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Oh, that's the one that was mentioned in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
The official recommendation from Tolkien Girl.
Thank you, Tolkien Girl. I'll definitely look that up. I will look that up.
Okay.
Okay. And let me know what you think of Inside Out after you see it, because I'd love to know.
Okay.
It's lovely. Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling, dear.
Bye.
Hi. Bye. Now into our live chat room we have Hello Pete. Northrunner is here, and he says, "There's nothing wrong with making money if you do it right. The Hobbit would have been better as 2 films, in my opinion." I agree with that, Peter. That might have been the thing that made the whole thing different if we had only 2 Hobbit films instead of 3. And Northrunner also says, to correct you, Justin, not because Tolkien loved money, Justin, he needed money.
Yes.
He had 4 kids, and he wasn't able to raise them on an academic salary. And
an Oxford salary? You better believe he better be able to. He was already 1% teaching at Oxford.
He knew that the success of The Hobbit and all those retail sales of his book were going to hit his kids with a very bad estate tax when they inherited his wealth.
He got even bigger estate tax.
Yes, he knew the estate tax was going to kill his kids, so that's why he went to work. He went to work for 15 years to cover the financial security of his 4 children. That's why Professor Tolkien did it. I know this for a fact. And also because he loved languages and he loved world building. He was a great writer, and he knew he was good at what he was doing, and he loved what he was doing. So he really enjoyed that.
You know what was in the trailers that we never saw in the movie?
That stupid ram playing the chariot down the frozen river?
Not what
was that about?
That humanoid figure of flame atop those steps before they cast Sauron back to Mordor. Yeah. More importantly was Gandalf.
Yeah, he does.
Gandalf says the line, "How shall this day end?" And he says it with force. And I was waiting for that heroic moment of "How shall this day end?" And we never actually saw that in the theatrical film.
The flaming Sauron at the top of the steps is in the theatrical version, just like it was in the trailer. So don't worry about that.
Oxford Dons make a lot more money than in blue-collar work. And if you're talking about pre-war England, he was well off.
No, that's why he wanted to write books on the side, because he was trying to struggle to keep things together and get a nice house and a nice retirement for him and his wife. And he had his kids to worry about. Anyways, Justin.
There's a Lego set called Dol Guldur Ambush.
Dol Guldur Ambush.
Featuring Beorn.
that is the suggestion from the toys, the Lego toy, right? That Beorn, the character Beorn, shows up at the Battle of Dol Guldur, which we don't see.
Ooh.
Which we don't see in the theatrical version.
Why would they go through all that effort making a Lego set of Beorn at Dol Guldur?
Pardon me.
Man, this movie is a whole different movie.
There's a rumor that the extended version of Battle of the Five Armies is starting to look like it's 30 minutes longer. 30 minutes longer than what was theatrically released. However, I've heard a rumor, as you have heard a rumor, that there's up to 60 minutes more stuff available. Up to, not necessarily going to be there, I'm not saying that it's going to be there, but imagine, in between 30 to 60 minutes of new scenes and extra good stuff in Battle of the Five Armies. That sounds really good to me.
There's just...
Eru, I know what you mean, because I've said all along that having 3 Hobbit films meant that we got to spend more time in Middle-earth. I was just saying that I think as movies, they would have worked better with the more compact storytelling. Pete? Northrunner? Yes, sir. You make quite a solid point. I have to give you that. Quite a point you make. Now, I'm wondering, boys and girls, the release date, you looking at the second week of November? Do you think November 16th? When it's going to come out?
Second week in November.
Second week of November? Now, I'm looking at my calendar for 2015, and we're going to go forward in time to November, and it looks like November 10th is the second Tuesday of the month. November 10th.
November 10th is the second Tuesday of the month. So this will be the third week of November.
Gosh.
We can't talk about all the spoilers on my phone right now.
I don't get that.
It's amazing.
I don't even get that.
It's amazing.
I don't even get that.
We can't.
What is that?
Netflix.
Really? That's not even real. That's so funny. That's some spoof from The Onion. All right, guys. There's a couple of things happening in November. It might be that the DVD release date in Germany for Battle of the Five Armies Extended Edition is Monday, November 16th. That makes me believe that we're going to get our copies on November 17th, because we have a Tuesday street date here in North America for those Region 1 Blu-rays and Region 1 DVDs. Not that anybody's buying DVD anymore. It's all about Blu-ray. Hey, guys, on a side note, for all you Miyazaki fans out there, I just got to say that after many, many years of waiting,
yes,
beautiful digitally remastered version of Spirited Away finally released on high-definition Blu-ray after Walt Disney Company had been sitting on it for many, many, many years. As you know, it won the Golden Bear at the Berlin International Film Festival for Best Picture of the Year, and it won the Oscar in 2002 for Best Animated Feature. Check out Spirited Away. As long as I'm telling you guys that you've got to go see The Dark Crystal and you haven't seen it yet, it looks great in high def on the remastered Blu-ray. And even better, Spirited Away, Miyazaki's greatest. What a masterpiece of a film. I had people texting me all week long saying, "Holy cow, I've never seen this film. This is freaking great. What a masterpiece." My friends were going nuts on me knowing what a Miyazaki fan I am. You've got to check out the new Blu-ray release, completely digitally remastered. It looks wonderful. Check out Spirited Away, or in the original Japanese, it's called Sen Tochohiro no Kamikakusha. You'll enjoy it. It's fantastic. Trust me on this. Anyways, Philippa Boyens and Peter Jackson say 20 to 25 extra minutes.
You speak Japanese?
I only speak a certain bit. I'm an armchair otaku. I know a little bit of Japanese from my favorite TV shows and animes, but no, I don't know Japanese.
Say something else.
Arigato. Arigato. Anyways, if Philippa Boyens and Peter Jackson are saying there's only going to be 20 to 25 extra minutes added on to Battle of the Five Armies, I would like that to be 30 minutes more. I would really like to see Alfred die. I would like to see Beorn show up and be Beorn. I would like to see more stuff at the Battle of Dol Guldur. I want to see more Christopher Lee, where he might or might not find a Palantir in the rubble after the Battle of Dol Guldur. You know what else we didn't see? Radagast exchanging his wizard staff and giving it to Gandalf.
Yeah, that's a
he definitely needs to see that.
Crucial moment in all of the Middle-earth mythology.
Brilliant.
Like
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Dude, that's brilliant. Yes. Where does Gandalf go with you know how many times in the Lord of the Rings movies we've seen a wizard have their staff destroyed? Okay? It happened at the Bridge of Khazad-dûm in Fellowship of the Ring, where Gandalf is face to face with a Balrog of Morgoth.
So
a demon of the ancient world.
The whole point of
he loses his staff there, and he shows up with another staff when he meets Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli.
The whole
no
point
explanation.
Of that staff. The whole point of Radagast's staff is to defeat the Balrog.
He loses that white staff in the battle of the Pelennor Fields when the Witch King shows up at the terraces of Minas Tirith, and Gandalf loses his white staff at that moment when you hear rooster crowing, and then Theoden shows up to save the day. But again, later on in Return of the King, Gandalf has his staff back. No explanation. Now what happens?
That makes me think that
in extended version of Return of the King, Christopher Lee, Saruman, he loses his staff, and appropriately so, and it's beautifully shot. That's my favorite thing in extended ROTK. Now, Peter Jackson is all about destroying wizard staves left and right, but he's not about piecing the pieces back together. In Battle of the Five Armies Extended, we better see that scene where Gandalf has lost his staff in Dol Guldur in Desolation of Smaug. He's going to need another one because he has it. He shows up with Radagast's staff in his bloody hands, and it's not even explained.
You know who else will be at Comic-Con
not even
this week?
explained until now.
Old pal Mark Ordesky.
I love Mark Ordesky. He's pretty cool.
He'll be out there. There's actually a fan meetup for The Quest.
Oh, that's going to be fun. I wonder if Bonnie and the
Bonnie Baggins and
the Library Bards, her band,
they'll be down
Bards.
there at Comic-Con.
That'll be fun.
But there's a Quest meetup because they officially haven't been canceled yet. They're in this purgatory of like, you're not in production, you're not canceled. See, at least NBC went to Hannibal and said, Hannibal, you're canceled. And then Hannibal says, okay, let's go look at our other options.
That gives the staff a chance to go look for the next job.
The Quest hasn't been told, you're canceled. So
they haven't been told you're renewed.
They're in this
that hasn't happened yet.
Purgatory, and I think
it's a terrible place to be.
I think one of the reasons
for the showrunners
is that ABC, they want to keep it. They don't want to lose the Quest because it's a great show and has a lot of potential. But the other thing with the Quest is that all the other ABC shows that have been coming out this year have been hits. ABC's like firing on all cylinders.
They are, yeah.
Everything that they're doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter.
Yep.
All their comedies, like I think Fresh Off the Boat and Blackish. There's a lot going on.
The Amazing Race?
ABC. That's on CBS.
That's on CBS. Forgive me. Sorry.
ABC has a lot of shows that are still doing well.
Even their crappy shows, like The Bachelorette, are doing well.
I know. It's crazy. So until something doesn't do well, they can't give the Quest any time, and it's annoying. So
yes, Chris, of course you can call in. Anybody who wants to call in on the hotline, we have the hotline open all the time.
The phone line is up here, or Skype us.
Yes, of course.
Give us a Skype, give us a call, text us. Let's hear your thoughts of what you want us to talk about at Comic, because we have so much to talk about at Comic-Con. How do we pare this down? This is way too much for an hour.
It is.
It's way. So we
have a lot to talk about. We have to compress it somehow.
What should we talk about? Like what if you guys were going to Comic-Con? What would you guys like to hear most? Do you guys want to hear about the potential movies that we're hearing about? Do you want to hear about the Tolkien
in the Middle-earth
biopics?
Cinematic universe,
or do you want to just spend 45 minutes going all in on all the stuff we know they shot for Battle of Five Armies
Extended?
What do you guys want us to talk about?
I think that there's a lot of enjoyment and fan enthusiasm for a really, really good extended version of Battle of the Five Armies, because I never even reviewed the first movie, because I felt that the theatrical version of Battle of the Five Armies was an incomplete film, where certain characters don't even get a closing of their character arc, and Thorin doesn't even get a funeral. So I will write my official movie review November 17th.
When we get the official
November 17th, as my speculation. But you know what, guys? We should also talk about new movies based on the appendix and what new, wild, and interesting directions that narrative could go. Hello, gentlemen. Both Hannah and I are enjoying the show. I'm so glad you're enjoying the show. Guess what?
This is a text message from the hotline?
From the hotline, I'm reading this text message from the hotline. Happy birthday. Tomorrow is Hannah's 15th birthday. She's one of our closest fans and followers on our audience. Happy birthday tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Happy birthday.
My dear Hannah, you're fabulous.
Will we see you at the Ice Cream Social?
Yeah, you better have some Scream, Hobbits, and Isengard. Hello there. Thank you for calling the Torn Hotline.
Hello, Cliff. This is Chris Reyes. How's it going?
This is our buddy Chris Reyes. He is the host of the Story to Screen podcast, of which I have.
You remember?
Yes.
There you go.
He's the guy, guys. He's a great podcast host, and he's had me as a guest star a couple of times, and a couple of fun extra things we've done for Tolkien fandom on Story to Screen podcast. Welcome to our little corner of the web. How are you?
Yes. I love your show, guys. Hey, Justin, how's it going?
Howdy.
Hey. Oh, hold on. Let me put this on speaker. Well, how's it going, guys? I haven't spoken to you in a while, Cliff.
I know, it's been a while. I've been so busy with other writing jobs on the side and a merciless day job that I can't even tell you about because I don't want to. But I'm good. I'm really super good because, in a couple of days we're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con having a wonderful time.
Yes, I will be able to go. I live all the way on the East Coast. And
oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I would like to go. Unfortunately, the Hobbit panels, there's not going to be any more of those. Lord of the Rings panels, nothing like that, unfortunately.
Well, not from Warner Brothers, but until they announce the new films in the Middle-earth cinematic universe. But
yeah.
I'm ready to jump the gun and make the announcement way before Warner Brothers does. What do you think, Chris? I'm dying to know. What do you think about the possibility of all the juicy stuff in the appendices being culled and, cultivated for, multiple films? What do you think?
Well, you remember that a couple months ago, I texted you an idea. I didn't send you a full synopsis, but I had an idea for like a television series. I guess I'm kind of done with the whole film thing because I want to see, since Lord of the Rings is now owned by Warner Brothers, kind of see Warner Brothers kind of explore different creative avenues with Rings. Because I really want to see Warner Brothers and Wing Nut Films or Peter Jackson kind of go into television, maybe do something like along the lines of Clone Wars.
Or Star Wars Rebels.
Yep, I'd love that. Yeah. I'd love that.
I mean, I've just been watching the Star Wars Clone Wars stuff. Oh my gosh, that is like some of the best Star Wars stuff I've seen since the original trilogy. Easily. The Star Wars The Clone Wars did a little story arc where they go into a trans-dimensional space and Anakin meets the Force wielders. Remember that? Oh my gosh.
That was the best mythology building we've had in the Lucas world in a long time. It was great.
Oh my gosh, that is, yes.
And it literally made sense of what Qui-Gon Jinn said, that Anakin was destined to bring balance to the Force. And they literalized that. It was fantastic. I loved it.
And the guy who played Anakin is fantastic. He makes me forget. That show.
It's a whole different Hayden Christensen, isn't it?
There's a soul. That's the thing I'm going to say. There's a soul there.
Thank you.
Nothing. I just felt nothing. But no, back to the idea. Yeah, I want to kind of see like kind of something along that style, and it could be animated. I think you can do some really
sure.
I mean, something along the lines of like the Alan Lee artwork. I mean, imagine a series like that in that style.
Imagine. That would be superb. I love that. So, yeah, there's the possibility for Warner Brothers to develop the content into television-type format or feature film format, whatever they want to do.
And they've got the 6 films, they've got the appendices, and, The Hobbit, and, there's so much stuff that you can play with. I mean, and obviously I'm assuming there's some limitations of what they can use, but I think there's enough there.
There's enough there for them to do like a miniature version of the Silmarillion, because
or like a bridge series that's going to connect
Sure. The
Hobbit 3 to Fellowship of the Ring. There's something there that you can actually connect to, like show how Aragorn and Legolas met, or what happened to Tauriel. Just some random things. But I'm really excited to see where that could possibly go. But anyway, yeah.
I agree with you. So what do you prefer? Do you think that Game of Thrones has shown us the success of that format over 5 seasons? And do you think that Warner Brothers could tool around with the content and the appendices and turn it out like that instead of putting out feature film format?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, right?
Is HBO owned by Warner Brothers?
Yeah,
is HBO a Time Warner company?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, if that's the case, then I say do it. I mean, I don't know, you've got them, I mean, the problem, if you're going to do Silmarillion, you're going to have to basically get on your hands and knees and beg Tolkien estate for the rights. But if you're going to do something like a bridge TV series, then I think that could possibly work. I wouldn't see why not.
It sure could. Yeah. No one was going to get any rights from the Tolkien estate. And that's why no one's going to ask until things change after Christopher's death.
Family.
But I don't think other immediate family members who survived Christopher Tolkien would even budge. So, and we don't want to see, infighting among Tolkien's family. We don't want to see anything like that. But
we don't want another, like Peter Jackson, New Line squabble thing that happened in the mid 2000s after Return of the King came out. You remember that whole ordeal?
Yes, I do.
Remember when Jackson sent that long email, kind of detailing why he's not coming back with The Hobbit? You remember that email?
Yep, I do.
Oh my god!
I remember that all the way. You know what? While I'm thinking about it, the power of the financial success of Game of Thrones and the financial success of HBO now launching a whole new subscription-driven service that they have called HBO Now, where people can just get it on their tablet without even having to have it on their direct cable subscription service. That's going to change a lot of the money flow, and the cash flow needs to be there for HBO to say, okay, yes, we can support and get the showrunners together to do and produce a show like this. But the idea of...
You would assume that they want to kind of get everything done with Game of Thrones, and then maybe from there, after that whole thing has wrapped up, then move on to the next big thing, Because after Sopranos, it was Game of Thrones, and then it's like, okay, well, let's...
After Sopranos, it was Mad Men, wasn't it?
Was Mad Men on HBO?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I don't really watch Mad Men that much. I thought that was on...
Oh, Mad Men is on AMC. I'm sorry.
Yes.
My mistake. Mad Men is on... Twice now. I've got my shows confused with my stupid networks. Sorry, guys. I'll remember now. Okay.
Yeah, I would assume that HBO wants to get Game of Thrones done, and then maybe... Okay, maybe we can do Lord of the Rings, or something like that. But yeah, let's kind of go away from TV talk. I actually want to talk a little about the extended cut because of Hobbit 3.
Yes.
I know that. So I heard you mention 60 Minutes. Is that just a rumor at the moment, or is that been confirmed or something like that?
It is only a rumor, and I've got this rumor from someone that the word is right now that the extended cut of Battle of the Five Armies is 30 minutes additional, but it could be 60 easily. That's how much content they shot. It could be 60 minutes easily, but...
So Peter said like 30 minutes at a press interview, so...
That's what he said recently,
yes. He said that on every single press interview for every Middle-earth film ever created.
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be about 30 minutes extra.
And we ended up getting 42 minutes extra with ROTK, didn't we?
50. With Return of the King, I think it was 50 minutes actually.
With the credits, with the fan club extended credits. Yes.
So there's not. As far as we know, that we'll get upwards of an hour.
Gosh, can't believe that.
I thought it was 42 extra minutes on Return of the King, but I'm not sure if that includes the extra credits of the fan club. Charter members of the fan club got their names up. Yeah.
Okay. But no, you were talking about Alfred. Do you want me to share my thought of who
Please.
Alfred was going to be?
Please.
Now, it's been a while since I've seen the last two films, but I don't think we ever got Alfred's last name, did we?
Nope. Oh, yes. The one lady who argues with him over a blanket mentions his last name.
Okay, prior to that, and I actually thought, like, throughout the first two films, I thought before since that's the case that he has the last name, I thought prior to that, he was actually going to be revealed as Grima Wormtongue's father or grandfather.
Okay. That's interesting. But we know that Wormtongue was a man of Rohan, not descended from the men of Dale. And all...
okay, so yes, and I think
right?
that he, had the twist in, like, my last name, Alfred Wormtongue. And I say that actually is a fitting name, so to speak. And then he says, I'm leaving for Rohan. And then, and then it's like, oh! And then you look back and that could have been like a little Easter egg. I think that would have worked. I mean, what do you guys think of that idea?
Nah, that's reaching.
I don't know. Because, that would be... I wouldn't put it past Peter or any of them to do that as a little side thing, but I'm telling you that there were constant claims by non-fans to be confused, who are like, oh, they saw I introduced some brand new people to Hobbit films and Lord of the Rings films, and they thought that Wormtongue was the exact same character and the same person as Alfred. There was confusion. Sometimes the newbies watch Alfred and Wormtongue side by side, and they're confused that those characters might be the same person. Did you know that? It's weird, but it's within the reach of that confusion to therefore be deliberate. It might be therefore the writer's intention to drop,
If this is the Gong Show, I'm calling the gong. No connection, inappropriate, and it's not good.
I don't know. There's not. I think it's possible, but they're not going to do it because they've already mentioned the character's last name.
I mean,
they already mentioned it.
They just mentioned the last name. I thought that was going to be the little surprise at the end before he goes off, and I thought, oh, okay, and because he does kind of have a pale kind of look to Brad Dourif. I mean, he does kind of look similar, and even the costume.
He looks just as greasy as Brad Dourif does, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he looks
similar.
Just as unwashed. Yeah, I would agree. But
it's more to say about the class of citizens in Middle Earth. If you're born into or you grow into a certain class of citizens, you're going to look a certain way, you're going to act a certain way, and you're going to get the same type of job no matter what kingdom you work for.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But
and if what's his name? Mariotic, a Brandybuck, had a stayed in his position in Gondor even longer, he would end up pale and greasy like the rest of them.
Yeah, that's funny.
Now, I'm curious about one more thing about the extended cut. Do we know if those Viggo Mortensen rumors that he might show up be true? I mean, is that completely dead, or is that completely false?
Complete dead rumor from a long time ago. Viggo was down in New Zealand doing something else entirely. So that's that.
Filming that movie, Jahara, whatever it's called. I can't remember what the name of it is, but because I think that was shot in New Zealand.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'm excited to see a lot more of characters like Beorn and Radagast in this extended Battle of the Five Armies. If Alfred gets accidentally tossed by a catapult into the mouth of a giant troll, if that happens, I'll laugh, but I'm not counting on it. I'm not holding my breath.
I guess my biggest... Well, maybe we'll talk about a little bit about that stuff more when we do our actual commentaries for those Hobbit films, which, by the way, as soon as they're available, Cliff will be coming back on Distorted Space for the Two Towers. So that's the next one.
Yes, that's right. We're going to try. I'll be glad if I can schedule my time to be there with you. I would love to join you to do a Two Towers commentary. Thank you, Chris. You're awesome. Thank you for joining our show today, buddy.
Yeah, And oh, by the way, you're coming to Dragon Con next month, right? Just to make sure.
Am I coming to Dragon Con?
Cliff won't, but the One Ring will. We've got a bunch of panels and a wonderful set of guests. But us West Coasters are staying West Coast. It's a lot of work doing all these conventions, and we have a lot of volunteers. We can always use more volunteers at theonering.net to do more conventions because it would be great. So yeah, we're kind of divide and conquer is the mantra now. You know,
I hadn't planned on going. But it seems like a far-reaching goal. I don't know. I'll let you know later if I decide to go to Atlanta.
For a while there, like, okay, yeah, it could be happening. I'm still not sure. We're still planning some things. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And because Ben and I were like, okay, yeah, when he comes to Dragon Con, let's all go to dinner or something like that. Just go out and...
yeah, it's all a divide and conquer. So, but thanks for calling in. We really appreciate it, and always love the input and insight. Please join us on every week on these shows. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, indeed, sir.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Yep.
And
Thank you very much.
I'll text you back later on. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
text you and we'll arrange something, okay?
Okay.
You take care. You have a good week at Comic-Con.
Thank you, buddy. Ciao. Thank you.
Bye.
Now,
you know, I just want to say before... but
Lickspittle. I Googled it.
Lickspittle, yes.
Alfred Lickspittle. That's funny. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. There you go.
You know, I just want to say, but you know, as we're wrapping up the show, it's going to be great to see you at San Diego Comic-Con this week, and we have a lot to talk about. We're just this is the tip of the iceberg of the information that we have. I do want to say that I just saw a TV commercial for the Denny's Fantastic Four menu. Are you kidding? They gave the Thing his own burger, and we couldn't even get a dragon spaghetti, Smaug spaghetti, or we couldn't get anything. Like our Hobbit menu, hashtag Hobbit menu, is still alive because it just annoys me. You know what? The extended edition of The Hobbit comes out in November. So, Denny's, you still have enough time to give us back the Hobbit menu we want and deserve. We will go to Denny's, and we will go to Denny's more often, and the entire fan base of Lord of the Rings will go to Denny's if you bring back the Denny's Hobbit menu. But this Fantastic Four stuff, I don't want to eat a Thing burger.
No, me neither.
No, give us Smaug or give us death. I do want to say thank you for the heads up. But I do want to say a huge congratulations to our regulars and friends.
I'm very thrilled about this. And our friends Brighter Moon and Aaron
and Running Hobbit,
Running Hobbit and Brighter Moon, who met each other as audience members on our Torn Tuesday show.
Really? Was it during the Road to Dragon Con?
Yes, it was. They met each other virtually and started
on the road to Dragon Con.
A lifelong romance that has now become wedding vows. They've gotten married today. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you guys.
A torn wedding.
And I'm actually going to officiate their wedding ceremony. Today they were just doing the legal papaperwork.
Yes.
And getting the things, down at the Justice of the Peace.
Yes.
So they got their paperwork all signed. They're legal today, but the real wedding ceremony happens in about 2.5 weeks, and I'm going to be flying to Indianapolis where I get to officiate their ceremony, and it's going to be so lovely. I'm thrilled.
Indiana.
I'm thrilled for you guys. Brighter Moon, Running Hobbit,
Indiana.
Aaron and Neil, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Many blessings to you guys. It's fantastic.
We got a couple questions on the hotline and in the chat room. Will the Comic-Con panel be live streamed? We want to.
Oh, that's a great question.
We want to, and it's totally based on if there's cell signal in the room we are given. Because last year, remember, we were in this huge room that wasn't even in the convention. It was across the street, down the hall, up an escalator.
Yes.
It was buried. So
yes, we were in the Hilton, weren't we?
Yeah,
they moved us over.
Hilton Bayfront. We're in a different room this year. So the answer is maybe. If we have signal, we're gonna try to point the camera at the stage, or maybe we'll just have the camera on the stage, pointing at people. Super fun.
So great.
But that will be this Friday, 4:00 p.m. This Friday, 4:00 p.m. And, of course, our Ice Cream Social, ice cream cart, taking the hobbits to ice cream guard.
Taking the hobbits to ice cream guard.
Do make an effort to take the train. You can take Amtrak. It drops you right off in the middle of downtown.
It does, and
it's amazing. You can take Amtrak from Ontario, from Inland Empire, from LA, and take you right to San Diego.
When you arrive there, you can just get in a pedicab with one of these.
You can walk a few blocks.
You can walk a few blocks, and if you can't walk that many blocks because you're carrying a bunch of stuff, because you want to get stuff signed,
carpool.
you want to get your sword signed by Peter Lyon. So if you're bringing your stuff, come and join us. San Diego's fabulous, but it's super crowded, and be prepared for all kinds of, well, crowds. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and a giant 30-foot Iron Giant in honor of Brad Bird and his classic animated film, The Iron Giant.
Thank you for joining us again. We're live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here from Meltdown Comics, the center of all things geek in the middle of Hollywood Sunset Boulevard. My name's Justin. You can follow me, Justin's Big Idea. Of course, follow The One Ring on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and everything else. We're even on Instagram, where we post stuff on Instagram that we don't post anywhere else. And we'll be taking a lot of pictures at Comic-Con this week of anything that we see. Great cosplay. Follow us on Instagram. You'll see it all.
Thank you. We love having you guys on the show. It's going to be great. A great experience down at Comic-Con. Brief. I won't be there for 4.5 days, but it'll be great. And everybody, shout out, raise your glasses in toast to Neil and forgive me, Aaron. My brain. Check my brain. I
just know him as Brighter Moon and Running Hobbit.
Brighter Moon and Running Hobbit.
I don't even remember names. You were Quickbeam for the first 5 years.
I was Quickbeam for the first 5 years. You didn't even know my name. How funny.
Cliff Quickbeam, I thought was your last name, and then you told me it was Broadway. I said,
Cliff
well, that's
Quickbeam.
more fake.
That's hysterical.
All right.
It does sound, that's very
funny. Let me go turn off the signal.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on Torn Tuesday. I'm on Twitter at Quickbeam2000, and he's on Twitter at Justin's Big Idea. Follow us at The One Ring Net. And this show, like most of our weekly shows, will be archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/The One Ring. That's THE numeral 1 letter NE. Got it? THE numeral 1 NERING. That's where you'll find us. Good night, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great Comic-Con. Be safe.
You guys listen to you guys all the time in Portland. That's amazing. I also have a giant Iron Giant tattoo on my thigh.
Oh god, I gotta see that tattoo.
I heard. I figured.
That's so fucking great.